Hello everyone. Well, here in northwest Montana the weather is really cold and really crappy. It's raining east to west instead of up and down. It's east to west. It's horrible out there. Outside temperature is 45 degrees and I'm guessing the wind chill's right at around 35-ish in there. But yeah, it's too miserable to be flying. Well, today you notice we're not down in the corner in the house, if you will. We're actually out in my shop. It's warm enough to be out here, so we're out here farting around today. Figure we can take this opportunity to answer any questions that maybe you may have. Just post them in the comments. This is actually my first time doing a live session with Big Sky Hobby Corner, so bear with me. I'll do the best I can. And we'll just go from there. You notice on the weld table I got the 30cc Avistar up. It has flown. I've posted videos of it. Actually, a friend of mine took videos while we were during the maiden flight, and I just shared them. Hope you got a chance to see those. But sooner or later, we're going to have an opportunity to actually take this thing out in the field and go through a complete pre-flight as if we were going through our maiden and checking all of our systems, make sure they're good to go, and we'll do some flying that way. You notice I hadn't turned out a video in quite a while. There's a reason behind that. I have 3 kids. 2 of those kids are very, very athletic. They're involved in sports and 4-H as well. Kind of give you a rundown of the things we have going on. My youngest son, Ryan, he wrestles. Okay, so we're traveling that season when he starts wrestling. My oldest son, Tyler, he is in 4-H. Well, actually, all of our kids are involved in 4-H. He is currently training our border collie, actually competing on a state level with this border collie and different agility things and whatnots. Just as long as he does good, that's fine, as long as he likes to do it. And he does. There's also shooting sports that we do. They're big time into archery, so there's more time away. Also baseball and softball, that chews up 90% of my time outside of work. They love it, and I support it 100%. This is actually, for the next 6 weeks, this is my last free weekend. So it's going to get pretty interesting. That's why as soon as the weather became flyable, I was out of here. We started flying just as soon as we could, and every opportunity we can fly, we do so. You got to keep your skills sharp, especially when you're an instructor. You got to be able to stay ahead of everybody and everything, just as much as you can. Well, anyway, moving on to the Avistar. When I test flew this, it actually did really well. I built it per the manual, and set the center of gravity to the manual. And there's some things I agree with and some things I don't agree with. It is a giant scale high wing airplane. It flies really, really well, but you do have to fly it. They advertise this as a giant scale trainer. I disagree with that because, like I said, you have to fly it. This airplane, wherever you point the nose, that's where it's going to go. It is a good flying airplane. I wouldn't hand it over to a beginner. This could actually be a good second airplane, second and a half maybe, but definitely not your first airplane. I'm using an MLD 35cc for power. It's a Chinese engine. They recommend the DLE 30. There's nothing wrong with the DLE engine. This was about $100 cheaper, so that's the way I went. It's an electronic ignition. I threw away the MLD ignition that it came with because they're junk, but I went to RCXL ignition module. Haven't had a lick of trouble. Runs like a champ. This airplane with the 35 MLD, it's a 35cc engine, an 18.8 propeller. I'm going to say there's almost unlimited vertical with this thing. I can take off, point the nose up, and it'll just keep going and going and going and going. There's no stopping this airplane. When I test flew it, for the control setups, you've probably seen on the videos on YouTube, there was just absolutely no trim needed. That's a good sign of a good build. No trim at all. The elevator is sensitive at what is it, 1 1/4 throw per the specification. But that's the way I like to fly. And it also has to do with the balance. This model is balanced per the manual, level at CG. Incidence is 0. There's no. That's what the incidence is set your elevator level, balance the airplane, and put a level on your wing. Basically, this is the poor man's way of doing it. They have incidence meters and all that good stuff, but if you got a level, you can do the same thing. Level your wing, and your elevator should be 0, 0. Okay? Balance level, it flies straight level. There's no complaints about this model whatsoever. The only thing I did different for the manual was the engine. I tried an array of different propellers on this airplane. We have the engine said it can run up to a 22.8. I call bullshit on that because I put a 28 on here and it was too much for the motor. You could never get it to tune in. But what I actually found works really well for this airplane, or for this airplane and engine combo, is the 18.8. Works really well. I couldn't ask for anything better. Coffee, you gotta have it. And this engine starts, I'm making sure my ignition's off because I am going to pull it through. It will start just by hand propping it, like so. But if you got a pesky engine that's just not wanting to cooperate with you, I understand. I would recommend looking into a starter. You know me, I fly on a budget just like everybody else. They have the Megatron starters and things like that that run in the $200 price range. That's great if you can afford to do so. Get one. Well, what I did, I took my old DeWalt screw gun, and I had an old Sullivan starter that I had burned up. It's just been floating around the shop, getting kicked around and whatnot. What I did, I took the starter cone, I took the motor apart, and took the starter cone, and just sawed it off here at the shaft, right there, okay? I used that to chuck on. I just put it at my DeWalt screw gun. Like so. Now this is a 20 volt lithium tower, okay? Show you what I'm using there. And I mean, this thing, it pulls my 50cc edge over with no problem whatsoever. So, if you don't want to spend $200 on a starter, if you got a screw gun laying around, you can do this option as well. Just to show you. That will start this airplane. Had it had fuel and ignition plugged in, it would have started. But yeah, I was just showing you how well that works. And it's a cheaper option. You can buy these screw guns, I think, on Amazon for around 99 bucks. That'd be the way to go. I also use this to start my generator as well, since what I did, I lent it to the neighbor kid. Wanted to borrow it while they were going camping, had no problem with that. He brought it back with a busted pull cord. The assembly was busted inside, and you can't find parts for it. He was willing to buy the parts and help me fix it. My hat's off to him for wanting to do so. We just couldn't do it. So, instead of having a useless generator around, I just put a socket on an extension, turn down the extension, turn the female end down, chuck on it with a drill bit, and it'll start right up for me. So, that's what I would do if options are limited. What else have we been doing? Oh, we've been doing a lot of flight training as well. Let me get this big guy off to the side here. I'll show you what my son's been doing. Just in case you're wondering, what my son and I do, we call the big Avistar, the 30cc Avistar, Big Daddy Avistar, and this is Little Avistar, Avistar Jr. This is the original Avistar 40. I want to cock it up here so you can see it a little better. The wing is rubber banded on. That's a quality trainer feature. There, I hope you can see it. It is a quality trainer. Some people don't like it because it doesn't have a flat bottom airfoil like the Sig Cadets. or your other available trainers that we have. The reason I like this airplane, you can slow it down to a creep, to where it's just as stable as a trainer, or you can speed it along. This one I'm running with Futaba radio gear, the fast system. I'm also powering it with the Super Tiger 45. That offers a little more power than what's recommended. The reason why is I fly off of grass 90% of the time, and you need a little extra power to get off the ground. If you, well, prime example with this airplane, when I got a hold of it, now see, I bought this at a swap meet. It had the OS-40 LA, which is what's recommended for the airplane. My personal opinion, it's a little underpowered with that. I buy these Super Tiger 45s anytime I get a chance because I've always got an application for them. Got it home with the OS-40 LA that was on it. Took it to my private runway out back here and tried to fly it, and it just didn't have enough poop to get off the ground. So immediately I had this one on the bench here in the shop. Threw the plane in the truck, came up here, did a motor swap, I think in record time. It took me about 20 minutes. Had the Super Tiger 45 on here, balanced, we were ready to go, went back down to the runway, took off, not a problem. Super Tiger power, you can't beat it in my opinion. This is the old Italian-made Super Tiger before they retooled in Japan. Now, I'm not saying the new ones are junk, but you just may not get the longevity out of the Japan-made Super Tiger engines as you would the old Italian ones. I've got a new, well, yeah, it is new, a new Super Tiger 45 in my cabinet over there that's ready to go, looking for a home. It's the Italian-made one as well, so it's not for sale. Okay. Anything I have is for sale, just depends on how much you want to spend on it. But anyway, yeah, I've been training my son with this airplane, and he's done really well. Last time we went out, he was working on his figure eights, and we just started our rectangles over the runway. And the way I teach, your first flight, you go up, you just kind of play around with the airplane and get a feel for how it controls. Then we go into circles, left circles, right circles. Once we accomplish a left-hand circle and a right-hand circle without losing any altitude, 3 times each direction, we go into figure eights. And we try our figure eights at different spots over the flyover zone, one at the north end, one at the south end, one at the middle. We just keep repeating that pattern back and forth. And once you're able to transition those positions without any problems whatsoever, then we start in on rectangles. And the rectangles are the length of the runway, fly out away from you, come back over the runway, and so on. Well, after you do that so well, you keep getting lower and lower and lower and lower. And next thing you know, I'm telling you to flare to set it on the ground. After you accomplish 3 landings and takeoffs by yourself, I'll sign you off. You're soloed. I'll even give you a pilot certificate. Now, he's working on that. He's almost there. And I hope to have him soloed by the end of the summer. We've already flown 1.5 gallons of nitro through this thing, and we're just in the middle of May. So we've flown the paint off of this bird. And I hope to keep going too. Hope our traveling softball, hopefully I can take this thing with us and we can get some flying done in our off time. I want to get some things situated here in the shop, and maybe we'll do another live feed.